Welcome back to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm your host. Welcome to season 4, and this is what we have for you this week. The 2022 season of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league was a wild ride, a lot of drama, heartbreak, introduction of the survivor pool, all culminating in that championship game where the SWAT team took home their 3rd consecutive championship. Now we send it out to the trophy presentation with Commissioner Tooch. Hello, World's 9 Best and fans from around the globe. It is my pleasure to be here this year to present the trophy to this year's winner, the SWAT team. This is it's a very historic trophy. As you can see, we've now made it onto the second side of the trophy, 3 plaques. Look, it's been a great league so far and an absolute honor, and I'd like to turn it over to the winner of championship here to accept their trophy, Commissioner Tooch. Thank you very much, Commissioner. It is an absolute honor to be able to take home this trophy again. As you can see, 3 names in a row on there: Robots, Court, and now the SWAT team. Look, it's been a very fun 3 years, and to address the elephant in the room, yes, I am wearing all black now. I have decided to fully embrace my villain era in this league. I'm wearing this because it's the funeral for all my haters. Everyone thought this team, they're 500 late in the season, counting us out. And really, you should learn to never count out the SWAT team. We're going to be back. We're running it back this year. 4-peat, you heard it here first. And I'm going to fully lean into it this year. I'm very excited to see where this league goes, because really, it's just all coming back into my hands. And I'm very much looking forward to not only putting my name right here, but right here, and right here, right here, and right here. And you know what? After that, we're going to get a second base on the bottom of this trophy and keep filling it up. So you all can keep trying to compete with me. I'll be happy to keep the trophy here on my desk. To address some of the administrative matters for the league, again, I do need everyone to send me their payment. As a reminder, by league resolution, we have once again upped the league buy-in to $50, and the survivor pool buy-in is $10. So please send that to my Venmo, which will be right here. Don't make me hound you down for it, because I will do it, but I will not be happy about it. That's all I got for you now. I'm very much looking forward to the football season starting tonight. Looking forward to a great year with the world's 9 best, and best of luck to everybody, because you're definitely going to need it. Now, to explain the survivor pool rules for the upcoming season, we send it out to Brett.
Hello to all, and welcome back to the first week of Survivor for this year's Fantasy League. Just wanted to make a short video for an introduction of the overall rules for Survivor this year, along with the weeks that some of the important things will be happening, as well as a little bit of a new wrinkle here for week 1, as we didn't start until week 2 last year. For this first week 1, nobody is going to be eliminated from Survivor. Rather, we are going to be having an immunity challenge amongst the entire league, seeing as we have our new divisions. The highest scoring total team points in the division, all 4 teams will be immune for week 2, along with the highest scoring individual if they weren't already a part of that division. So we will either have 4 or 5 teams immune for week 2, meaning that there will be the opportunity for one of either 7 or 8 teams to be eliminated in the second week. So week 2, next week, I will be revealing the wheel that we'll be using for the year. Gotten some good suggestions to try to spice up the variety. We're going to try to add on more different things this year so that there are more opportunities rather than just highest scoring points to get immunity. So if you guys have any more recommendations, please send those to me by early next week so that I can incorporate all of that. We won't actually spin the new wheel in week 2, seeing as we already will have had the immunity determined. So one team will be eliminated in week 2, and then starting in week 3, it'll look very similar to last year, where the wheel spin will occur after the week has already played out so that no one has the opportunity to mess around with their lineup and hurt the integrity of the normal matchups. To highlight 2 other important weeks, in week 8, 6 teams will have been eliminated. The remaining 6 teams that are still in Survivor will have a bye week, and the 6 teams that were eliminated in the first 7 weeks of the season will have their opportunity to get off of Extinction Island and back into Survivor. And then week 13 will be the final showdown of the final 3. At that point, we will be 1 week left in the regular season. So we're going to wrap this up before the final week of the regular season and try to have it as its own standalone. The only other consideration that we're going to have this year is that I know that one of the slices on the wheel is going to be our current leaderboard for our own Survivor pool that we're going to do. So the rules for that are going to be whoever is still alive and remaining in Survivor can get their immunity that way when that week occurs, if that is one of the things on the wheel. So in order for that, I need everyone from the league to send me their Survivor pick. Simple NFL Survivor rules: pick one team, and you cannot use the same team more than once. One other slight thing with that is that there's a tie on the leaderboard. If there's multiple people left, it'll go to total point differential. So if that impacts your picks at all, just wanted to flag that. Final thing, we're going to go 18-0 this year. I'm going to give you 18 winners every Thursday. Lock them in. I'll give you the lines as I have them on Wednesday, but we're going to roll with it. I like the Tennessee Titans this week, +3 on the road against New Orleans. Vrabel's going to have the boys fired up for week 1. Good luck to all, and I will have more information for you next week with the new wheel.
And now, here is Danny Football with his picks for week 1. Hey, what's up, guys? World's 9 best fantasy football players expert, Danny Football here, back with another week, another season of expert predictions. Last year I did pretty well for myself, getting about a 60% mark on the season. And of course, just as ever, it's always difficult to beat the expert. I'm pumped up for this new season. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Good chance to improve my record and, put away more people who come on the show and try to beat me. But now, it's a new week. There's a new guest. First one of the season. First chance to beat the expert. So guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Hey, what's up, guys? Commissioner Tooch here. Danny Football, thank you so much for having me back on as a guest. I am a huge fan of the show, and I'm very excited to be here. Well, thank you so much for being here. I thought there was no better way to kick off this season than by having a champion back to pick alongside me. And let me just add, I am a big fan of what you've been doing with this league. You're truly an inspiration to commissioners everywhere, and all the best of luck with your picks. Oh, thank you very much, Danny Football. I am a true, huge fan of yours. I think you are the preeminent expert on the world's 9 best fantasy football players, and I can only dream of one day being able to beat the expert. I do like that we're starting to have this yearly tradition, where the champ, me, gets to come on week 1 and make picks with you. I'm looking forward to running it back. I very much expect to see you back here week 1 of next year. All right, first up we have Blood, Sweat, and Beers taking on the Texarkana Bandits. Blood, Sweat, and Beers favored at 55%. This is one that I'm actually really interested in. 2 playoff teams last year. I think these 2 teams are going in pretty different directions, though. I'm expecting the Bandits to continue their rise, really compete, take a step forward. And I think that Blood, Sweat, and Beers could be on the decline. If not this year, then definitely next year. Now, fans of the show know that I am high on the Bandits. Never question, we're back on the Bandits this year, and I expect them to win here. Danny Football, I think that's a great pick, but I do have to say, not enough attention is being paid to the Bandits and them drafting Trayvon Walker. Look, I'm a huge fan of the show. I know that you're high on the Bandits, but I think this has been a blind spot for your analysis.
Okay.
Not enough Trayvon Walker content. Believe me, if you go and you watch the tape on this guy, absolutely incredible. Clearly the best defensive player taken not only in the world's 9 best draft last year, but the entire NFL draft. It was a real honor for me to give Trayvon a hug as he walked across the world's 9 best stage last year. And I can't wait to put that gold jacket on him when he gets into the world's 9 best Hall of Fame someday. I know the Bandits are going to be coming out swinging this year. And, frankly, Blood, Sweat, and Beers, they've got a lot of solid pieces. But I'm expecting the Bandits to come out on top in this one.
Great pick, Commissioner. Next up, we have the Mental Brick Walls taking on JK. We're still Mahorny. JK favored at 53% in this one. Who do you like here?
Well, Danny Football, I think this is actually a really good matchup. The Brick Walls had one of the biggest surprises last year. I know a lot of people were not high on them in the preseason, and they really came out, showed they were a true contender in this league. They got the first pick in the divisional draft earlier this offseason. JK, I really like them getting back to their Mahorny roots here. I think that's only going to be good for locker room morale. I think it's really going to keep those guys glued together this year. I'm expecting big things out of them. One thing to watch, Cooper Kupp injury, going to be a big hit for the Mahorny boys. But, with him out this week, I'm going to have to give the slight edge to the Brick Walls in this one.
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick. The Cooper Kupp injury was also something that I had noted in my expert analysis. I said last year that I liked some of the picks the Brick Walls made, and I could see guys like Chris Olave and Kenneth Walker being mainstays of this team in a year or two. They delivered last year, but now Olave's gone. Ken Walker's got to contend with Zach Charbonnet in that backfield. It's going to be interesting to see how this team holds up this year. One big thing to look out for with the Mahorny boys, does the name change help this team? They had kind of a mediocre season last year. We'll see if they could bounce back. I think this is going to be the top 2 teams here in this division. We're very lucky that these teams get to face off twice this year. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Brick Walls in this first matchup. Great match to like. I like that the expert and I are on the same page so far. Next up, we have Bart Harley, Jarvis Landry taking on Hammond Throw. BHJL favored here at 59%. They had a really rough season last year and majorly disappointed, but I think they can still be competitive this year. Frankly, they need to be competitive since they do not have their first-round pick next year. Luckily for them, though, they're going up against a very weak Hammond Throw team that I'm predicting to be by far the worst in their division. They just have nobody to inspire confidence on their roster. Their Jonathan Taylor trade from last year could potentially be up there for one of the worst trades in league history, depending on how things shake out. Something to keep your eye on this year. I think this is going to be a very nice way for BHJL to start out the season on the right foot and get a win.
Yeah, I really like that pick. This is a matchup I'm calling the battle of the anti-defense alliance. Nooch, Visconti, both noted IDP haters.
True.
Frankly, I'd like to encourage both of them to just not start any defensive players this week. I think that would be fantastic. Great way to boycott the league. Both of them should get on board, and, it's fair if neither of them start any defenders, so I think that would be good.
True.
Nooch, I know he really disappointed last year. People had high hopes for this team. They ended up missing the playoffs. I guess, honestly, he probably just couldn't handle losing to me in the championship yet again, so I don't blame him. Might as well get the better draft pick and hope to build for the future when the SWAT team would be maybe a little weaker. Not that would ever happen, but, I understand the logic there. As far as Hammond Throw is concerned, we have a very one-sided rivalry. I feel like Hammond Throw is always trying to come after me, always trying to compete with me. And honestly, sometimes I forget that he even is trying to field a competitive team because this team is frankly just garbage, top to bottom. I think it's going to be really hard for this team to get out of the absolute gutters of the division that they've been drafted into. I'm going to go with Bart Harley, Jarvis Landry getting off on the right foot in this one.
Next up, we have the Judon Noodles taking on Coochie Gang. Judon Noodles favored at 51%, basically a toss-up. What are your thoughts on this one? This is one I think is really interesting, actually. Coochie Gang, great name. I think it's slightly reminiscent of Tucci Gang. Some might consider it honorary towards me, which I really appreciate.
True.
They had a real Linsanity run last year, putting up a real fight in the Survivor pool, and then even going on to knock off the Bandits in the playoffs, who a lot of people were expecting to win the title last year. I'm interested to see how they hold up this year, though, especially considering they gave up that first for D-Hop, and they've got a lot of older guys. Derrick Henry has been... Every single year, people are saying this guy's going to decline, and who knows, maybe this is finally the year. Judon Noodles, automatically, they're getting taken down a notch. I do not love the name change. I think Timmy really had absolutely no spine, just cutting ruthlessly Jeremy McNichols and then immediately changing the name of his team. That is something that this owner would never do to his team. And I'd like to just point out to the entire league how disappointed I am in Timmy for making this name change. I think it was terrible for the team, terrible for the league, frankly. And, it is kind of a cold-blooded move, though. And I think that cold blood is going to help Timmy out a lot this week. I'm going to go with the Judon Noodles to get the nod in this one.
I like that pick, Commissioner. These are two teams I'm not especially high on this year. I know both were in the playoffs last year, but I would not be surprised if at least one didn't make it back this year. I think Coochie Gang's position players are pretty weak outside of their top guys, and we saw that hurt them at points last year. They had to go make that big trade. Judon Noodles looked really solid last year, but it is always a slog to get back to the championship, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, getting back to the championship game is really what separates the good teams from the great.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I think Judon may run into some unexpected troubles this year, but I'm going to pick them to win week 1 coming out the gates. Moving on, we have the SWAT team taking on undefeated, never lost. SWAT favored in this one at 64%, biggest favorites this week. Commissioner, I'd just like to really take this opportunity to congratulate you again on such a great job running your team over the last 3 years. Truly exceptional to be able to win 3 in a row and solidify the dynasty. And I don't know if we'll ever see that again in this league.
Well, look, Danny Football, if you think 3 in a row is good, just wait for this year when the boys are going to go out there, run it back, make it a four-peat, and truly solidify our dynasty on this league. No one's ever going to touch that record. 3 in a row, no one's going to touch. 4 in a row. That's never going to happen.
That would be really impressive, and I'm sure that all of the members of the league would happily join in congratulating you on all of your impressive accomplishments if you were able to pull that off. Turning to undefeated, never lost, this is a team I actually kind of like this year. They've never made the playoffs before, but they may have turned a corner with all of their offseason moves, draft picks, trades. Unfortunately for them, I think they are in hands down the hardest division, and I think it's going to be really hard for them. It's going to be a slog to make the playoffs. I don't think it gets any easier for them this week. I'm going to go with the SWAT team here.
I really like that pick. That's some great expert analysis. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. 4-peat, come at me, take your shot. You come with the king, best not miss. We're running it back this year, and we're certainly not going to lose to undefeated, never lost. I'm picking the SWAT team in this one.
Bold claims. I like that. Finally, in our marquee matchup of the week, we have Team M. Vanek taking on Team Big Chungus 22. Team M. Vanek favored at 54%. Who do you like here?
Danny Football, it's not too much to actually like in this matchup. I think both teams are going to be absolute bottom feeders this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if both of these teams were stripped for parts mid-season, trying to send out anybody they can to get some future draft picks back in return. One team does have to win this matchup, though, and I'm going to bet on the guy who just got an elite running back added to their team in Bijan Robinson. I'm going to go with Team M. Vanek in this one. I refuse to call them Team Sam Hinkie. Team M. Vanek, you can't just change your name like that. Yeah, I think that's a good pick here. Some fans of the show may be wondering why the producers made this the marquee matchup of the week. I know that Vanek and Will, both big fans of the show, they're probably wondering this themselves since they're both convinced that they're going to blow the other one out this week. This is what we're going to call the first round in the fight for Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that both of these teams will be deep in contention for that first overall pick in next year's rookie draft. And luckily for us, they get to play twice this year. So we're getting a lot of times, a lot of competition between these two teams. I think their only other competition for that one spot is the absolutely putrid and also constantly injured ham and throw team. I think the team M. Vanek comes out on top here, and Tyreek Hill is on the move from the Chungai in very short time. Well, Commissioner, thank you so much for being on the show. I am wishing you all the best of luck with your picks. It's always great to have you back. Of course, can't beat the expert, but always great to have you back. I look forward to seeing you back here next year. Thank you, Danny Football. It's always an absolute pleasure to be on. Great to see you again, my friend. I hope you're doing very well.
Thank you. You as well.
I'm wishing you all the best of luck with your picks this year. I'm sure you're not going to need it. Great record of success so far.
Yeah.
Commissioner Tooch and Danny Football, that's a real expert pairing right there. It's stuff champions are made of. I think we get each other, and wishing you all the best this year. And thank you, Danny Football and guest Commissioner Tooch, for those great picks. That's all we have for you this time. Be sure to come back next week to see how things shook out. I'm your host, and this has been TNN.